Good evening, folks. This is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Tuesday, January 16th, 10:26 p.m. Mountain Time. You're looking at global temperatures. Currently, one-day minimums. The areas in purple are 20 degrees below or colder. Here we come to North America. You can see the trough dropping all the way down into Mexico, where the freeze line has dropped all the way down into the mountains of North Mexico. This freeze line is going to travel into Florida in the coming hours, bringing snow potential to northwestern Florida. Take a look at Europe, minus 11 across all of Eastern Europe here. Minus 3 in Oslo, 2 in Stockholm, 0 in Dublin. This is a very cold pattern. I know it's winter. And here you can see the minus 20s up here in Russia, and the negative temperatures coming all the way down towards Japan. One thing I want to point out with our friend here, Al, is that you can currently walk from the tip of India to the tip of Florida if you have snowshoes. And 75% of that walk will be across snow, which starts here in Georgia and does not end until India. Where's Al Gore when you need him? And that's a boom. Let's go on with the update. First major Sierra storm of the year, bringing 120 mile an hour winds and snow below 4,000 feet. It's a heads up. We're going to cover the maps. Cold front dropping down from the North Pacific Ocean is forecast to blast the North Sierra Thursday night with a potent dose of snow, high winds, and icy cold air. Could be feet of snow. We're going to get to the maps. Temperatures are predicted to drop 20 degrees as the storm moves across the region, with highs around 30 Thursday night into Friday. 1 to 2 feet of snow is expected above 7, including passes. 5 to 10 forecast for lake level, and the foothills and snow levels could reach as low as 3,500 feet. Motorists should drive carefully because you guys don't know how to drive in snow. Frigid temperature trail storm dropping more in snow on the south. This is a freak storm, and some of our subscribers who live in the south have never seen 2 snowstorms like this in a year. In fact, it snows every 4 or 5 years, according to many. This is Atlanta, a wintry mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain blanketed a large swath of the south, trailed by a blast of frigid air that could approach record low temperatures tomorrow. By Tuesday evening, the steady dropping snow 15 miles northwest of Atlanta was forcing cars to slow considerably amid scattered fender benders. Again, no one knows how to drive in these conditions. They're only going to continue to intensify as we descend into the grand solar minimum. And that's a boom. You're welcome. Thank you, Caldwell Kelly. Now, you want to see a cop slip on ice? You're about to see it. Whoa! I love it. He needs a couple more donuts. I'm all right. I'm okay. Whoa, whoa! Whoa! It's all right. I've done this before. A mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain is currently impacting portions of the south, including fat cops. This will result in dangerous travel conditions for fat cops trying to get donuts as far as southern Texas and the western Florida Panhandle, which might see snow in the next 12 hours. Snowfall is expected along the East Coast through Wednesday from New England to the Carolinas, and we'll be covering the totals in seconds. Winter storm Inga, because I love to name these storms. Inga, so sexy, is currently bringing snow and ice to the south and will also spread accumulating snow along the east through Wednesday. And that's a boom. Look at the snow line. It goes down here towards Texas, through New Orleans, and it's going to be just clipping Tallahassee all the way up through Nova Scotia. We're talking 3,000 miles of snow. It goes all the way into the Gulf, the snow, guys. That's the second time this year, and we're barely at the middle of summer. Here are the snow potential for the next 12 hours. As this moves up into New England, you're looking at 12 or more inches. Inland, that's not you, Jimmy. You're going to be spared on this one out here on the hook. But looking for some good snow totals from this little nor'easter event. And here is the coming snow. It's in British Columbia that's about to pummel the Sierras. And look at these snow totals. And I'm about to blow your mind. This is starting now for the next 3 days. You're talking 10 states in the West in double digits. We're in 2 feet, 1 to 2 feet in 10 states. We need it. I'm going to be buried. According to this map, I'm going to be in the 16-inch range. The northern mountains of Colorado are going to be buried. Southern Wyoming, Montana, eastern Montana, northern Idaho is going to tilt from the weight of this storm, getting up into the 2-3 foot range. And then British Columbia is going to be buried. This is going to be record numbers all the way down through Washington, all the way to the coast, all the way through the Sierras, all the way down to Southern California. And that is just the beginning of what's going to continue to happen again and again and again. All the way till March. Now, this storm is going to move east, and it's going to bring blizzard conditions to the upper Midwest on the 22nd. And then the East Coast is going to be under a deluge again and more flooding and ice jams. This is do you see a repeating pattern here, folks? So we're going to be looking and covering ice jams on the 23rd again and flooding. Heads up. Whew. It's hard to keep track of all this. I have so many tabs open. I erased 95 tabs already. Florida's colder winter continues this week. Isn't that a funny headline, folks? Florida's colder winter continues this week with more snow possible Wednesday. And that's a claymation boom. My goodness, we're going to be covering the volcanic activity because that also is on the uptick. Oh man, where were we? So the East Coast is going to be flooding there. Now, predictions of a warmer, drier winter for Florida aren't exactly panning out because the Ipcc put them out. We're going to get to some Ipcc nonsense. So let's real quick check at the Ipcc prediction, okay? This is Akasofu, a reasonable scientist's prediction, including global warming, which is nonsense. And here's our prediction, which includes the sun and other cosmic forcing elements, historical data, the Milankovitch perturbations, Dansgaard-Oeschberg cycles, the Bond cycle. And you can see why the Ipcc is so wrong. Predictions of a warmer, drier winter for Florida aren't exactly panning out, and another round of chilly air sweeping south this week. This isn't the last one. I predict 2 more of these waves minimum to hit Florida this winter, and over a dozen next year, increasing to over 30 in 2020. Parts of the panhandle around Tallahassee could even see snow flurries again, though chances for accumulating snow are low this time. By 2019, they will be accumulating snow there, and the Everglades will start to freeze again, as predicted by the Indians, the natives in that area. On January 3rd, Tallahassee residents experienced the first measurable snowfall since December of 1989, and now they'll have potentially 2 events, which will be unprecedented in all of history. Well, except if you go back to 1809, when the natives said the white cleansing rain came and froze the Everglades. Come on, bear with me. I could put up a graph. Live updates as snow causes travel chaos in Scotland with drivers trapped on M74. Heads up, Scotland. We'll be bringing you the latest weather and travel updates at this link. This video's loading. So we better go south. An Arctic blast is causing weather chaos in much of Scotland. You Scots know because you're there. Heavy snow showers have carpeted a huge swath of the country. The Met Office has issued an amber weather warning lasting until Wednesday morning for most of Scotland as the country braces itself for the worst of the weather. They've also warned of power cuts, mobile phone signal outages across the amber area, as well as dangerous driving conditions. I bet the gritters are out. Stay tuned as the record brings you the latest news. So guys, you're going to get links to this, and we're not going to get any video. Yeah, it is. Here it comes. Snowfall in the East Kilbride, 16th January 2018. Loading. Everything's loading. Bear with me, guys. Can't make this video twice. Cutting it. Low temperature spell trouble for winter wheat. This is a crop update, and it's looking bad. We had problems in over 35% high protein wheat loss last year, and it does not look good. As of today, coming out of Lakin, Kansas, the extreme cold has been frustrating, but now it's a disaster. The ground is frozen. It's over. The wheat will not come up. There is a probably 80% wheat kill in Kansas, which is where 80% of the wheat is grown for bread. This is not looking good. If we don't plant wheat in the right area that is high protein, by next year, a loaf of bread will cost over $10. And I'm not kidding. We're going to be eating flatbread that's totally edible, but this is a complete freeze. The ground is actually shrinking. So you've got cracks going down, the air is getting in, and that's causing the ground to dry more and freeze deeper. And that's a wrap on winter wheat in North America. Because these waves are only going to continue. This is the second one, and it is only going to get deeper. Right through Kansas. It's going to be 10 tonight. 10 degrees in Kansas is not good for the wheat, folks. That's a heads up. Let's get to fun stuff. Mayon's mile-long lava looks dramatic, but the event hasn't caused officials to raise the alert level. Still at 3, eruptions from the Philippine volcano causes more than 34,000 to flee. We have amazing footage of lava from today. Now, this is the best footage I've seen in a while. We had the lava fountain last night. This is pretty good stuff. There's only 14,000 views. That's how few people in the world understand what's happening with the worldwide volcanic uptick. Look at right today. Popocatépetl, Sinabung, and Sacajurima. Sacajurima actually erupted in a large way. We have no pictures because of cloud cover. But we do have this coverage, which is fantastic. Now, this is a calm lava extrusion, which happens before the more gaseous lava reaches the surface. So this volcano, Mayon, which is now erupting in an epic way, and also erupted back in 1814 during the Dalton minimum because of high cosmic ray flux, which caused the muons to, look at that's a reverse eruption. That's a pretty trippy. But look at this flow today. These lava flows went 1.2 miles, according to the USGS and Flivox. But what happens is, when you have a quiet eruption like this in the beginning of an awakening volcano, it's because the gaseous magma is forcing its way up. This is a precursor to maybe a violent eruption. There's a 65% chance that this will erupt in a violent way, VEI4 or greater, based on this type of flow. And we'll know based on if there's a seismic uptick and some large gaseous outputs and some bulging on the cinder cone here, we'll know that this is about to blow. And then then Mayon will be the one that starts the accelerated drop of temperature on the planet. That's a heads up. Lots of other volcanic activity. Like I said, Popocatépetl, Sinabung, and Sacajawea erupted today. There is no aviation alerts. But yesterday we had Fuego, Popocatépetl, Tucano, Reventador, Sinabung, and others. So it's been a big volcanic 48 hours. And let's get to the seismic update. The KP is down at 1. It's been there for most of the day. And there's been an uptick on the west coast in 2.5 or greater in the last 24 hours. We just had this one kicking off at 2.5 in Maple Valley, Washington. Off on the coast here in the Cascadia, we had a 3.2 at Bandon, Oregon, 202 kilometers west of, out here on the rupture zone. We've had an uptick, and this 7.1 is the major quake. We do have a 4.8, and there is a 4.3 being shown yesterday. So there are 2 aftershocks to the 7.1, which is good news for the people in Peru, but the lithospheric pressure has moved north up into Nicaragua, and a 5.9 went off today. And there are some aftershocks in that region. Nothing significant, though, and we're still waiting on a significant earthquake that's going to pop off here at any moment. Thankfully, this volcanic activity is releasing pressure. One thing I want to point out here is this significant 3.6 in Caruthersville, Missouri. This is on the New Madrid fracture zone, and it is in a very significant place. It is at the heart of the New Madrid fault zone. We expect larger quakes here because historically larger quakes happen in the heart of the New Madrid fault zone. And here's the historical quakes. You're looking at the Appalachian fault here. This whorl here, this curvature is the Appalachian fault. Some people call it the Appalachian Mylonite zone. Some people call it the shear zone in the Appalachians, but it's the Appalachian fault. Here's the New Madrid fault zone. It forms this T here. And the earthquake happened right here where the larger earthquakes typically happen, including the 8.2 and the 8.1. And so a 3.6 popping off in the main center of New Madrid today. But followed by no other quakes, so it's not really that worrisome. Just normal activity in the fault zone. It could even be a aftershock from the quake back in the 1800s. Now, coming out today, untouched frozen tomb discovered in Siberia. You guys might have seen this. This is really good evidence on how warm Siberia was 2,800 years ago. And let's get ourselves familiarized with 2,800 years ago on the GSP 2. Here's 2,000 years ago. Here's 2,500 years ago. And 2,800 is right here during this event here. It's the C-14 Hallstatt disaster. The carbon-14 Hallstatt disaster, if you don't know about, is the reason why a lot of people say carbon-14 dating is nonsense. But carbon-14 is only nonsense for this particular 300 years because you get the same reading for the whole time. Now, what happened during this quick cooling of the Earth is that this Siberian community was destroyed and buried and left. And that's a heads up there. So that's a grand solar minimum drop down 2,800 years ago called the Hallstatt disaster, which is going to be very similar to the next 3 decades. We're calling this the modern disaster. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds. But in the Hallstatt disaster, there was a massive output of carbon-14, making all these numbers look the same. I'll leave you links to the Wikipedia. It's a lot to digest. But we're also going to give you all the scientific data. So here I have a paper for you called Human and Climate Impact on the Environment as Derived from the Colluvial and Fluvial and Lacustrine Archives. Examples from the Bronze Age, the migration period of Germany. Now, this paper gives us a paleoclimatic window into a period of time in recent history, and they uncovered it at the edge of a mountain here, where all these sediments are weathering off, and based on the amount of rainfall and the type of environment it is, if you look into the edge sediments here, the geomorphology of the recent sediments, you can get a very clear picture of the paleo environments. You look at pollen samples, the type of detritus in organic material, and it's very easy to get a picture of the paleogeography in very high detail over the past few thousand years, where you can see rapid temperature fluctuations, climatic changes. There's all kind of graphs here for you to look at from tree ring data. And this is from 1000 AD to 2000 BC, this data set and this paper. So you scientific-minded people that want to get more information on the recent past, please check out that paper. For you guys more interested in the recent past, the last 2,000 years, we have harmonic analysis of worldwide temperature proxies for 2,000 years. This is by Ludecky and Weiss. This paper is amazing, and you should really dive into it, simply because it uses the word cyclic in the abstract. Heads up. And it's going to give you some paleogeographic information. It's going to give you some amazing graphs. And this is covering that Hallstatt disaster. We're freezing up. Let's talk about the Hallstatt area and the Hallstatt plateau. The Hallstatt plateau is a term used in archaeology to refer to consistently flat area on graphs that plot radiocarbon dating against calendar dates. Radiocarbon dates around 2450 before present always calibrate to 800 to 400 BC, which is a 400-year window of, that's a huge window. No matter how precise the measurements are. And the reason that is because during the Hallstatt Plateau, there was an event that caused the carbon-14 to remain constant during this temperature drop down. Now, that's because of volcanic eruptions. It may be a cosmic catastrophe, so there could have been an object that hit the planet at that time. But I'll leave you links to the Hallstatt Plateau, and you do your own research. Guys, this is coming out from the Radical Gardener. This is an hour ago in Michigan, Fireball, in the Detroit area. And we have it, probably the first in the country to cover it. This is probably less than 2 hours old. And by the time I edit the video, it'll be 3 hours old. But this is 9:15 local time in Detroit. And this is a re-entry object and or a large fireball or meteorite that's coming up to melt the glaciers. But there are multiple discharges with the surface of the Earth causing this object to burn up completely. So nothing probably hit the ground. There was a sonic boom heard. People were rattled. So keep your eye out in the morning to see if this is in the mainstream in North America, because this is a huge event. Look at how many cars just right here had to have seen this. Multiply that by 1,000, and then there are millions of people in this area. And we have the best coverage right there. I'll leave you links to that. One other thing I want to talk about, I'm about to put up a new Rattlesnake Ridge video. We have some excellent new drone coverage that gives you side view of the flank here. Now, the woman that's producing this channel, Ipcc Productions, has been working with geologist friends of mine and our channel to provide us with the most up-to-date pictures of this ridge so we can have cutting-edge coverage of this slide. She just put out several videos today. I want you to go over to her channel and subscribe and leave her some wonderful comments. Ipcc Productions, I'll leave you links. I like this. You should like it too. This very picture that she's using is coming from our geologic studies and our analysis of her photography. Her photography is being taken hours before we make these videos. These mock-ups are being made by professional geologists that are friends of mine that love this channel. This coverage is not happening anywhere else on the planet but here. So if you're in the Bend, Oregon area or in the Union Gap area of Washington, please subscribe to her channel. Thank her for her hard work. And leave a comment down below and thank us for our hard work. This is Bill Wetstein, a colleague of mine from Temple University. He knows a lot about me, so I love that guy. Heads up, Bill. And that's a boom. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. There's a lot of science to cover. There's not enough time to do it, but there's a lot of volcanoes erupting, and not just in claymation, in realmation. Share this with like-minded people, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Cosmic ray flux is increasing. The pattern has shifted to grand solar minimum, trough, which means that climate change is going to be very erratic moving forward in the next decade. Hot to cold, hot to cold. Colder than you've ever seen, with atmospheric compression events causing increased snow events, which are just getting started in the Sierras. And we'll be watching it. We're going to be covering all geologic events and phenomenon across the world as best as we can. But we have stuff to do here. We're building greenhouses. We're becoming self-sufficient. We're building an abundant, sustainable life. And you can be doing it too. And this channel is dedicated to helping you prepare for what is coming, what's happening right now. If you don't see the earth changes now, wait till next year. But our predictions are all coming true. If you're still on the fence with global warming, please watch the last 300 videos I've made. There's enough scientific information with references that your mind will be changed, I assure you. Guys, be safe. Thanks to all our new subscribers. We've had over 3,000 subscribers in the last 15 days. I love each and every one of you. Please share this on your social media, and let's wake up the masses.